This is my first ever hardcore world, and I want to survive 100 days in Minecraft hardcore survival. Now a Minecraft day equates to around about 20 minutes real time, and with 100 days, that's over 33 hours of gameplay. One mistake, one cheeky little creeper, and you guessed it, it's game over, the world to never be seen again. Now if you guys could please click that subscribe button, would mean the absolute world. And here you'll see where the journey begins, me, the coffee fuel genius, a clear inventory, a whole world to explore, and 100 hardcore days to survive. Let's go. Hey, that's me. I kicked off day one with the basics. I collated wood and all the resources I need to make a start on my hardcore survival. My fists were getting sore, so I thought I'd make a crafting table so I could craft an axe and it will make chopping down trees just that little bit easier. Not 5 minutes into our game and lo and behold, we found a village full of villagers, so I decided to loot the town and see if I could find anything. After looting every single room I could find and speaking to the villagers, it didn't seem like this village had too much loot, only hay, a cat, and a few cactus. Or cacti, I don't know. I went to find the townkeeper, Greg, and I asked Greg could I stay here for the night because it gets pretty scary, and he said yes, so lo and behold, off to find the bed was my mission. Searching around all of the houses, I found a villager selling things, so I knew I could come back to him later on. I was a bit cheeky and mined some of their hay because I could use this to make bread because I was getting pretty hungry. I ventured out from the town for a little while, went and mined some wood, had a look at the scenery, was hopefully looking to find some coal because I really wanted to make some torches. Until this moment happened. I thought not this early on, there's no way I could be killed by a creeper. But I also thought I had to protect the town because they're letting me stay there. So I was caught in a real dilemma here. Do I risk everything so early on? He was getting close. I didn't have the tools to face him, only an axe. I thought if I lead him away from the town, maybe there's some chance that I can kill him with my axe. And so that, I proceeded to try. With one successful hit, my confidence increased, but I couldn't get too cocky because we know how easy it is to die in hardcore survival. I tried again, leaning in but missing my hits. With the second hit, I was pretty confident. I thought this has got to be it, one more and this guy's out for the count. But nope, he still kept hissing, he still kept coming. Finally! Thank goodness. It was a nice bonus to have an achievement so early on. The brief encounter was over, the creeper was gone, but I was very, very hungry. So I made some bread and then headed out to find some more food. I found some pumpkins just not too far from the village, so I mined them up to bring them back to the town. Whilst I was venturing out, I thought I may as well gather some more wood, you can never have too much, so I wasn't too far off a 64 stack. That beautiful sunset. So I headed back to the village. I knew I couldn't stay up at night, didn't have the resources for it, so headed back to the town Greg let me stay in and had a good night's sleep. Day 2 was upon us, a sword was crafted, and the hunt for food was on. Now finding food in hardcore survival is a lot more difficult than it is in normal, so I tried to get as much beef from killing cows as possible. Luckily, I didn't have to stray too far from the village because I found a group of cows and sheep not too far away. Knowing I didn't have any coal to cook the beef, I had to venture out into the world. So I said my farewell to the town that had kept me safe for my first day in hardcore survival. I went to see the townkeeper Greg and said thank you for letting me stay here, buddy, and he returned a thanks because by killing that creeper, it allowed him and his people to carry on surviving just like me. I walked for a really long time before I finally came across a cave. Finally, a chance of getting some coal to make some torches to finally go cave exploring. I mined the cobblestone on the outskirts of the cave so I can make myself some stone tools which would make mining a lot quicker. After nervously exploring the cave, I finally found some coal, so I mined all of the coal I could see and made some torches to further explore. Before I knew it, the sun was set, nighttime was upon us, and I had zombies on my tail. So I managed to escape to a nearby town, but ended up getting stuck in one of the houses because I'm pretty sure there was a creeper right outside the door. So I made a furnace and took the opportunity to cook all of the meat that I'd collected. I was pretty stuck at this point. I didn't have many resources to face the beasts, so I just stayed in the house overnight and waited it out. Took the opportunity to make some more stone tools so I could go out for day 3 and mine some more resources. Finally. The night was over. I used a stone sword I'd crafted overnight to finish off the spider that was chilling outside the house, and then I decided to go through the town and loot whatever I could find. I found bread, seeds, and even some emeralds. I continued to gather food and other resources, and then I thought now it's time to make a temporary base so I can store all of what I've collected so far. And to my surprise, while I was mining, I found some iron. What a bonus. It looked like a pretty big iron deposit, so I decided to mine all of the iron and turn the rest of the space into a temporary home. I finally had a place for storage so I could clear out my very, very cluttered inventory. I used the iron I collected to make a full set of iron tools so I could begin strip mining. Just 2 blocks down and I fell upon a cave with more iron, coal and other resources. This guy I wasn't too worried about because there was a gap between us, so I thought, I wonder if I can make the jump across and then I can run— No! I couldn't believe it. Was it over? It wasn't. I'd landed in the water in the bottom of the cave. What are the chances? Attacked by zombies all around. Finishing off the zombies around me, I continued to mine all of the resources I could find. I found more iron and more coal. Whew. And there were a few close calls along the way as well. I made it back to my temporary home, I took a deep breath, and then made a full set of iron armor. All done by day 3. We'd done it. We'd made it to day 3. Now it's time to continue with our hardcore survival. And after 7 long days, I finally had a place to call home, a true base of operations for our journey. Now, it didn't look like much at first, but I knew with 90 days to go, I had plenty of time to improve. The next few days were pretty chill. I collected some wool, planted some trees, tended to my farm and a limited food source, defended the base from a few bad guys. The next step was making a cow farm. Luckily, just outside there was a cow, so I led him in with wheat into the gates, and a bond was formed between animal and man. Now I just needed to find them a partner. I realized I had no food whatsoever, so I went out to kill some sheep and collect some meat. I realized I had pretty much nothing, so I decided to spend the rest of day 14 strip mining and mining caves for more resources. Now, I did jump into the lava, it was a sizzly mistake, but I found some water, we move, okay? We dealt with it. I tirelessly mined in an attempt to find some diamond, but I just wasn't having any luck at all. Until this moment. Oh, finally! We found some diamond. I mined up what I could find and then spent the rest of day 15 mining for even more. Every corner I turned, I found even more diamond. I hit the absolute jackpot here. I had enough to make a full set of diamond armor and just enough left over to make myself a diamond pickaxe and a diamond sword. I took a moment to soak it all in. As the sun set, I'd realized I'd hit a massive milestone by day 16, and now it was time to make some home improvements. After finishing the barn, I decided to dedicate almost 10 days to improving my home. With a whole room dedicated to furnaces, an armory, and storage, I was feeling pretty homey. I was feeling pretty happy at this point, okay? I was in a good mood from the house, so I thought now it's time to work on the barn. I needed animals, okay? So I ventured out and I found a cow, killed a few zombies on the way, and I think I found around about 2 chickens. Like, it wasn't a lot, okay? I was pretty disappointed with the result. So I decided to venture out the next day to see if I could find any more animals on my travels. I came across a horse, and to be fair, she was pretty beautiful, and I thought, do I waste my time taming her, bringing her back to the barn? Yeah, you thought so. I decided to waste my time, and then I bred some chickens together. It's a baby, look at it, so cute! I had a brief encounter with some phantoms, but using my shield and diamond sword, I managed to fend them off. Then I made a bunch of food so I can go into my own strip mine and look for some more diamond, coal, and other resources. I was tired of strip mining at this point, so I decided to explore some caves. I found a load of diamond, killed a creeper, and then while I was down here, I mined some obsidian ready for my nether portal later on. I made an anvil, and then used up the diamond to make more diamond tools. Bred the cows together, so I finally had a baby cow. Finally, I can make some leather, make some books, ready for the enchantment table. By day 35, I had added an extension for my enchantment table. Now, I wanted a room specifically for it because I thought it would look really cool, and then it dawned on me. I had no books. I literally had like 3 books, which was enough to make 1 bookshelf, and I needed like 15 to make the enchantment table level 30. So I went out to farm my own sugar canes and realized I didn't have enough, so I went out into the world to get more. I stumbled across a village and a villager who sells emeralds for wheat, which was a bonus, and then I tamed a cat. That didn't last very long though, bless him. And then I shacked up for the night, ready for day 36. The sun blazed high in the sky day 36, so I took advantage of the weather and worked on my farm. Creeper after creeper. Honestly, they made that such a task. But I finally finished the farm and then spent day 37 planting my sugar canes. Day 38 appeared and I built a bridge between 2 islands for ease of access. It was quite nice actually. And then spent the rest of the evening collecting sugar canes and killing skeletons, so I had enough bones to make more bone meal. I mean, the skeletons killed each other. It was quite juicy actually. I just sat back and watched. After such an exhausting couple days, I decided to spend a little bit of downtime on my home, plant some flowers around the place, you know, make it look a bit homey. I then built a lector, took it over to the village on day 40, and I literally spent all day trying to get mending, and I had no luck whatsoever. It was the most frustrating thing ever. I settled on Unbreaking 3 in the end, which, I mean, you could do better, but what can we do? I then spent the night killing creepers to collect gunpowder. I then spent day 41 collecting food and killing my cows for leather to make progress on the books. Day 42 and I'd finally made an enchanting table, but I just wasn't worthy of showing it off yet, so I placed it in the chest. I just didn't have enough books. Like, after all that, still not enough. So I dedicated the next couple of days to just specifically making bookshelves. I fed the cows, then headed out day 43 to collect as much leather as I could, but I literally had no luck here, so I headed back to the barn, fed my cows, then went out again to collect as many cows as I could to then breed. It took a little while, but I got there in the end, and then I fed them, and I fed them, and I fed them, but I ran out of wheat, so I had to collect as much wheat as I could from my farm. You know, guilt creeped in, you know. I'd spent so much time with these guys. We'd formed a bond, but, you know... No, I need a book. I really need a book. So I just slaughtered these guys like there was no tomorrow. Oh, finally! The bookshelves were made. It was time. The enchantment table, baby. I struggled to get it to level 30, even though I had 15 bookshelves, so I made a few adjustments, repaired my armor, then finally enchanted my pickaxe and sword. I had Fortune 3 on the pickaxe, and then a pretty good diamond sword straight off the bat. It was time to get enchanting, so I made myself a grindstone and got to work. I put feather falling on my boots, but I didn't have enough XP for infinity for my bow, so I got to work. Ooh, that sweet, sweet twinkle. I love the sound of XP collection, so I spent the next few days mining resources to gather more and more XP. I smelted the ores and then collected as much wheat as I could because I knew trading with villagers would get me even more. Day 51 was just around the corner and I traded everything I could for emeralds and XP. I also killed a zombie and he dropped gold boots. That was a bonus. I killed as much as I could in the night time, so I gathered even more XP. And then finally, infinity for my bow. Woo! Day 52. Now, I call this one Mending Day because I spent the entire day trying to get mending. But I got there in the end, thank goodness, and placed it on my sword and pickaxe. It was time, you guessed it, to make the Nether portal. Just over halfway. I was ready, but I was nervous. I entered the Nether portal. Wow, actually, I didn't just yet because I killed a creeper that almost ended the whole thing. Now, this was my first ever time in the Nether. I was absolutely terrified. The warped pulses from my Nether portal weren't enough to drown out the cries from that thick and sluggish soul sand I was surrounded by. The Nether ominously roared at me, but I knew I just had to face it. I had to head out. The breathing of the soul sand set me on edge. I headed out to mine some quartz for XP. While the lava snapped, crackled and popped, I can assure you this was no Rice Krispie. This was the Nether, and I never felt safe. I headed out to different areas to mine different materials, then I strip mined for ancient debris. I dedicated a lot of time to this and gathered a lot of ancient debris. I killed a lot of enemies. I was feeling a little more confident in the Nether. I mined some more quartz for XP. I finally found a piglin and bartered with him to try and get those ender pearls to fight that ender dragon. I got lucky straight off the bat and got 2 ender pearls. By the end, I had collected 9. Killing a ghast, I made my way back to the portal. Home. Finally, I felt safe. Once I got back, I turned my ancient debris into scraps and then tended to my farm. Oh, I tell you what, it was bliss compared to the Nether. I went out exploring that night for XP, came across a skeleton spawner, so that was quite nice, and found some diamond armor for my horse. What a bonus! I then tended to my cows because, well, they miss me and I miss them. And then again tended to my farm day 65. But, yep, you guessed it, I had to head back into the Nether because I just wasn't getting enough XP. I was feeling a little bit more confident this time round in the Nether. I was parkouring around looking for Nether quartz, but yeah, that was probably the worst thing I could have ever done. The moment you feel a piece of comfort in the Nether is your downfall. I thought this was it. I thought this was the end. I fell into a pool of lava and absolute panic set in. I didn't know what to do with myself. My health was dropping. This was it. This was it. Everything I've worked towards was going to end right now. Oh my goodness. I was eating as fast as I could. My heart... Oh... I survived. I dug my way out of that mess and got straight back to work. XP gathering, mining, bartering, killing enemies. It didn't end. I needed those ender pearls and I needed the XP to enchant my gear. I was trying to look for a fortress as well while I was out there, but I didn't have any luck. So I just thought, you know what? I'll head back and finally make my netherite gear. I enchanted everything. You know what? I was feeling pretty confident at this point. The ender dragon was just around the corner. Day 70. I headed back into the Nether. I'd finally found her. The Nether Fortress. I roamed the halls very, very carefully, taking out withers from a distance with my bow. I popped a fire-resistant potion just in case I came across a spawner. And well, it came in handy, because I did. Popping the first shot, I made my way up. But out of nowhere, they spawned. I felt invincible. With my enchanted diamond sword and my fire resistance potion, they stood no chance. I collected so much blaze rod. But now it was time. I had to escape. I treaded through the halls. It was one big riddle until I finally found the door I came in. It was time to get out of here. But I turned so many twists and turns and fought so many enemies, I'd realized I was lost. My only exit, swarmed by magma cubes. I didn't know where to turn. I kept my distance because with every shot, they multiplied rapidly. Surrounded by the sea of lava, evil uncharted lands, I struggled to even see a light at the end of the tunnel. I trudged through Netherrack for 2 days straight. I made my way over the sea of lava. Nothing could stop me. This hardcore survival wouldn't end here. I finally made it back. We'd done it. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Now it was time to get back to the overworld. I took it easy on the evening of day 74, organising everything from the Nether and the fortress. Then day 75, I took some time for my horse, organised all of my chests, and then I had this really cool idea for a room, so I prepped for later. But I thought, you know what, it's time to make a brewing stand so I can make some potions, but I just needed somewhere to build it, and I didn't want to do it inside, so I decided to head outside, find a spot for the brewing stand, and get building. The pieces were coming together. The Ender Dragon was just around the corner. Now, I did have Nether wart to make potions, but I wanted somewhere specifically to grow it. But also, I wanted to move my Nether portal, so... Look how cool this room looks. It's so mystical. It's so mysterious. I absolutely loved it. I farmed up all my Nether wart and then got to work on potion making. Now, I needed more phantom membrane, so I spent all night battling phantoms. The Ender Dragon was just around the corner. I had made 20 Eye of Enders just as a safety net in case something went wrong, and then I spent the whole day enchanting stuff. Day 83 was here, and I wanted to head over to the villager so I could trade a lot of wheat so I could get those emeralds, because I wanted to buy more books of mending. The sunset was a crispy warm, so I rode horseback to the village to sell as much as I could for the emeralds, but I'd forgotten books, so I had to go back, farm up all the sugar canes, make a load of books so I could get Book of Mending. I then applied it to all my armor, and yes, it was time. I prepped all of my potions, I reorganized my inventory, I was ready for the Ender Dragon fight. So I headed out. Threw the first Eye of Ender high into the sky, and it guided me to the Stronghold. Now, the Stronghold actually wasn't that far away. It took me less than a day. It must have been about 5 minutes away from my house. I couldn't believe I'd pretty much been on top of the Stronghold this whole time. I mined my way down into the Stronghold, chipping away at mossy bricks. I then found the portal. I was so nervous. This was it. I stared into the abyss. It was time to fight the Ender Dragon. This was it. This was the fight. I launched my Ender Pearl to land. I was surrounded by Endermen. I couldn't see with the pumpkin mask, so I took it off and scaled the towers. The dragon's fierce swipe of his wing knocked me miles, but my slow falling potion came in handy. My aim was on point. I was knocking out those crystals like there was no tomorrow. I took out another crystal, the dragon roaring at me. I ate some food for health and then carried on. I kept missing my hits, but I finally got there. I fought tirelessly to kill the dragon, and with one final hit, I did it. I killed the Ender Dragon. Look at all of that XP. We'd done it. We'd actually done it. It was time to jump back into the portal. Day 89, and the dragon was slain. We'd done it, ladies and gentlemen. What an adventure. I took advantage of the spare time and created paths, made house improvements, reorganized chests, all the things I wanted to do previously but didn't get around to doing. Wow, what an adventure we've been on, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked the video, please click like and leave a comment on what you thought. Subscribe if you haven't already. This took me so long. I worked so hard for this. Let's get ready for 200 days. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Coffee Fuel Genius. Peace out.